In today's video, I'll be discussing something known as the 4 Ps: people, perspective, process, and purpose. Number 1 is people. The kind of people that you keep in your circle tend to rub off in terms of energy, bad habits, good habits also, right? But people can either drag you down or they can raise you up. It depends on the kind of people that you're hanging around with.
You gotta be careful who you hang out with.
If you're especially if you're dealing with anxiety or depression or you're unhappy, it's especially important to not hang around people that are lacking motivation, that are using drugs and alcohol.
We had fun, huh?
That don't have any aspirations for a career or life goals. That kind of stuff rubs off. So, what do you think is going to happen if you're already doing bad, or you're already not feeling your best, or you're unhappy, and you're hanging around unhappy, miserable people?
You a badass influence on my life.
You're just going to feel even worse. It's important that you hang around people that you aspire to be like, that you want to be like. Look 2 to 5 years down the line in your life. What kind of friends do you want to have? What kind of people do you want to have in your life? Think quality people. So friendships should be mutually beneficial. Okay. There is a cost associated with being someone's friend, right? We may not think of it like that, but whether it's time, energy, things like that, the cost should be mutually beneficial. When you pick friends or people that you want to hang out with, you should pick people that have goals, aspirations, folks that have hobbies like you do, something that, it's very important. That type of energy rubs off. So when you choose those kind of people, you elevate each other to even higher levels. And that is a beautiful thing. Hanging out with friends, especially really good guy friends, is super important. We tend to isolate ourselves, and we want to be alone. We avoid people, but the bottom line is human beings are not meant to avoid social interactions. Humans are social creatures. If you look back historically, we survive in tribes. We survive in large groups.
Hail, brothers! Many brothers!
As a loner, I know it's important to hang out with friends, have a good time, and get your mind off of everything that's going on in your life. Something that really helped me bounce back was hanging out with my friends and going kayaking and fishing. That has been hugely beneficial to my mental health, to getting out of this rut, and to getting back to being happy and just sitting down and just not being in my head 24/7. So again, the people that you keep in your circle, it is so important. Number 2 is perspective. Perspective means, how do you look at things? How do you look at problems in your life? How do you see things that happen around you?
Is when you change your mind about how you look at things.
So no matter what anybody says, you're never going to have a problem-free life. Problems exist every day. We may have moments where there's no problems or nothing going on that affects us, but 9 out of 10 times there's a problem that comes up and we have to deal with it. That's just life. However, how you look at that problem can dictate, so many things. The outcome of the situation, your mental health and your well-being and your happiness, can all come down to how you look at that situation.
Well, that depends on how you look at things.
Yes, it may not be like the best thing in the world, and you may be unhappy with something that happened in your life. Let's say you have an issue at work with your boss, right? Initial reaction is to get completely pissed off, fly off the handle, and then your mood's ruined for a week. You start getting anxious, you fall back into like a depression, you start worrying, like, am I gonna lose my job?
My life is ruined.
No.
I'm gonna get written up, this, that, and the third. Next week comes around, nothing happens, your boss forgot all about it, but yet you spent a week worrying about something for nothing.
I suppose we
Overreacted.
If you would have looked at that through a different lens of, okay, you know what happened here? What can I learn from this situation?
I learned something about myself today.
Is there anything I can do to change the outcome? Once you answer those things, step back and leave it alone. Just leave it be. Sometimes you have to change how you look at a problem in order to dictate the outcome. Plenty of times, my perspective looking at something made it 10 times bigger than what it actually was.
Besides, I had bigger problems.
So that's why number 2 is perspective. Number 3, purpose. Purpose is kind of a weird topic. Sometimes you can get super deep and you can get down the rabbit hole. When people talk about, what is my purpose? Why am I alive? Why am I on earth?
In life, what is your purpose?
If you're religious, that can mean many things. So you could say, God has plans for me, whatever it may be. Sometimes the word purpose can get taken to a much higher context than what we need it on the day-to-day in order to apply it in our lives. So let me explain what I mean. Purpose, boiled down on a simple level, can be used, and it can be something beneficial. It can give us something to work towards. It can give us that drive. For instance, if you feel like your purpose is to help others, you may work on setting up a nonprofit charity to help homeless individuals. Or let's say your purpose right now is to be the happiest person that you can be, and to be the best person and the best man that you can be, the best human being that you can be. Purpose doesn't have to be this big, huge answer like, my purpose is to change the entire world and blah, 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 blah. Like, purpose needs to be purpose sometimes needs to be shrunk down into a size that you can hold in your hand, and something that you can actually devour bite by bite and apply in your own life. Men, especially, if we don't have a project or a purpose, we tend to crumble.
I need a job, a purpose.
It's something that I've noticed. You can have all the material things in the world, but if you're not working on something or fixing a problem or keeping your mind occupied, you tend to get in trouble, or you tend to let your mind roam. That's when bad things happen. So trying to find purpose on a individual level will completely transform your mindset, your happiness, and sometimes even your mental health. So keep that in mind as you work through your issues or whatever you're dealing with in your life. That purpose is to your own individuality. It doesn't have to be this big thing that applies in the world. Make purpose fit you and make it work. Number 4 is processes. So processes, you could also think of those as positive habits. Okay, so it's critical that you change those processes and those habits in your mind and then put them into physical action. So if you're dealing with anxiety, depression, you're unhappy, whatever the situation is, or let's just say, for instance, like with me, a year and a half ago, I was unhappy with my weight.
In my belly!
So I sat down and I put a process in place that I was going to eat much healthier. I was going to work out 3 days a week, and that's how I was going to reach my goal of losing 100 plus pounds. To this day, I'm down by about 104 pounds. By changing the processes that I was used to and completely rewriting all of them and applying them physically, I was able to change my entire life. Changing those habits is critical.
Old habits die hard.
Like, if you're stuck doing things that aren't the best, for instance, if you're used to eating unhealthy foods, or you're used to hanging out with unsavory people in your life, you're used to sitting on your butt, every single day of each week, of each month, of each year, playing video games.
What are we gonna do? Not play video games?
when you know you should be up, working out, moving around. You have to start small, and you have to sort of you have to talk to yourself. So that inner subconscious part of your brain is super powerful. I won't get super deep in this video, but a lot of your conscious thoughts go into your subconscious. Your subconscious then drives your physical, your actions. So, for instance, if you want to change, say, your eating habit, or you want to change, I would like to work out 3 days a week. Okay, you need to talk to yourself consciously in a positive way and tell yourself, "I'm going to work out 3 days this week. I'm going to work out 3 days this week." Let's sweat. Or I'm going to eat healthy this week. I'm going to eat healthy this week. Those are called affirmations. Okay, but the idea behind that is that by sort of programming that in your mind,
His mind was great and powerful.
it goes into your subconscious. Thereby, your physical body will then go into action and put into play all your desires and those plans that you have. So it's very, very important that you change your processes and you make bad habits into good habits.